welcome to this updated video. I really hope you're doing well this morning. We're going to be looking at what's happening across the Caribbean. So yesterday there was a lot of heavy rain and thunderstorms across parts of the northeastern islands, which resulted in a lot of flooding. I have been seeing the videos, I have been seeing the comments from you guys as well about it. But this morning there isn't much going on. However, there could be some additional downpours and thunderstorms as well as we head through today, especially in the afternoon hours. So we'll be looking at what's going on across the region, the rainfall forecast, but also there was an earthquake yesterday in the morning just offshore Antigua. It was initially estimated to be a magnitude 5.1, but that was later adjusted to a 4.9. So that was a decent shaking just offshore Antigua. So it has likely been felt across other islands of the Lesser Antilles, such as Montserrat, for example. You can let me know in the comments if you felt the shaking. But I haven't seen any reports of any significant damages due to this earthquake here. So again, estimated magnitude 4.9 earthquake, and that is a decent shaking. So you can let me know what your experience was if you felt this shaking. And while we're on the topic of that, the question of the day is in relation to earthquakes. So your question is, what is another name for the focus of an earthquake? So the focus, that is where the earthquake starts within the crust of the earth. And there is another name for it. Save your answer. You'll know soon enough if you have the correct answer later down in the video. All right, back to weather conditions. As we look at the infrared satellite imagery, lots of moisture in parts of the eastern Pacific spreading into Central America, and northern South America remains active as well. But much of the North Caribbean is kind of clear this morning, beautiful sunshine, and there are actually a few thunderstorms developing just offshore Puerto Rico. So as I said, there could definitely be some additional rain in this general area as we head throughout today. And, there has been some flooding. So let's look at the rainfall forecast. Here we can see it. So a bit of color across parts of the northern islands, some yellows, even some oranges popping up here and there. So there could be a few showers around near the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Cuba, maybe a few spots in the Bahamas, definitely not widespread though. And then we're seeing that it's kind of colorful for Hispaniola. So that comprises Haiti and the Dominican Republic. As we head to Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and even most of the Leeward Islands, we're seeing some shading around. So the rainfall amounts today could be just below an inch or so at maximum. And some areas have already experienced flooding, as I pointed out at the start of the video. So if there should be an additional heavy downpour or so, and the soil in a particular area is very saturated already, that can actually result in some flooding as well. So there's already been some inundation around, but with the additional rainfall today, any additional rain in some of those areas, there could be yet another flood event. So please stay safe, guys, should you encounter any flood waters. Now, going from areas such as Martinique southward through Grenada, including Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago, even the ABC Islands as well, only a passing shower at maximum today. Things will especially be dry for Grenada, and there's been that dust moving through. So I've been talking about it. I mentioned yesterday that it would persist through much of the week, and that is kind of what is happening right now. Northern South America, Colombia through the Guyanas, there could definitely be some heavy rain today. And as I showed you on the satellite imagery, there's all that moisture around parts of Central America. So there could be some heavy downpours in parts of Panama, Costa Rica, and especially the western side of Nicaragua, going to Honduras, and even some spots in El Salvador and southern Guatemala. But things will be on the drier side for most of Guatemala, going to Belize and parts of Mexico, and that includes the offshore islands as well, the Keys and the Bay Islands of Honduras. So that is what is to expect today in terms of rainfall activity. Again, those additional showers around for parts of the Northeast Caribbean, and that would include some of the areas that have already experienced some level of flooding. All right, now let's move on to the wind forecast. So it is going to get pretty windy in parts of the region today, especially as we head into this evening. The southeastern Caribbean, ABC Islands, parts of the Windward Islands such as Grenada, even Trinidad and Tobago, and then headed towards the vicinity of Belize, just offshore Belize, the Bay Islands off Honduras thereabout. there will likely be some of those stronger winds today, well over 20 knots or so. And elsewhere should be anywhere from 5 going up to 10, maybe even 15 knots at the maximum today. And the winds are also going to be kicking up in the Gulf of Mexico. But overall, there isn't a major system around. However, as we head to the latter part of May, we could see something interesting happen near or in the Caribbean. So I have been watching the models in regards to that, and I will be keeping you guys posted as well. Now, in regards to the Eastern Pacific, there are still those hints of potentially seeing something develop next week. GFS has been a little consistent about that, a bit inconsistent in the potential intensity of the system. But overall, quite the increase in moisture is expected offshore Central America in the Pacific Basin. And as we head to Wednesday, the 15th of May, which is the start of the Pacific hurricane season, there we're seeing all that moisture GFS is showing. The Canadian model is also picking up on it. That moisture is represented by those shades of greens and those yellow spots and reds that you are seeing. And also the Euro model. So Euro is also showing that substantial increase in moisture in the Eastern Pacific. So we could definitely see something try to get itself together later next week or even in the following week. And again, the first name on the list for the Pacific hurricane season is Aleta. So we could see Aleta before the end of May, without a doubt. And then as it relates to the Atlantic Basin, again, there is quite a bit of dust out there stretching across the main development region. And we haven't had our first tropical wave just yet. So that may emerge later this month. But next month, we could definitely see things really start to ramp up. So the Atlantic hurricane season commences on June 1st, which is really not far from now. So it is the calm before the storm now. And things are definitely going to get active. But for right now, again, going back to the Caribbean region, much not really happening, but there's been some flooding yesterday in parts of the Caribbean, and there could be some additional downpours as we head through today, which may trigger some other instances or additional instances of flooding. All right, going back to the question that I asked at the start of the video, not really at the start, but, the question of the day. What is another name for the focus of an earthquake? If you said the epicenter, you are not correct. So it is commonly confused with the epicenter, and they're sometimes used interchangeably, but they are different. Another name for the focus of an earthquake is the hypocenter. So the focus of an earthquake is where the earthquake starts within the crust of the earth, but just above that starting point on the surface of the earth is the epicenter of the earthquake. So the pin that I showed you, for example, of that recent earthquake, that is where the epicenter is located on Earth's surface. But inside of the earth, where the earthquake actually started, that is the focus or the hypocenter. So again, hypocenter is another name for the focus, but the epicenter is different. It is the point above the focus on Earth's surface. Alright guys, so that is it for this update video. I really do hope you found it to be quite informative. But if you have any questions, do feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll respond when I get the chance to do so. And remember to always be weatherwise.